We talked about tomorrow's rain chance. Back to sun on Wednesday. Thursday evening through Friday, likely showers. Sunday's rain could kick off a return to a wet weather pattern for about 6 weeks.
As he said something at like 4 a.m. this morning that really woke me up.
Absolutely.
He said, okay, great sunshine today and, several days this week. Then starting Sunday, we're going to have rain for the next six weeks.
Now, you think he was fully awake when he made this statement at 4 a.m.?
He was quite confident in it, but he said above average rainfall through the month of December, and then there was even he thought there might be snow Thanksgiving weekend
here in Portland.
There he is. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You ready to back up some of these crazy statements?
What are you guys doing here?
Yeah, we're invading your space because we heard
whoa, my space.
weeks of rain.
So you knew at some point this dry weather. How long has it been dry, for crying out loud? Let me grab my book.
Well, relatively speaking, it's been dry since,
True knows.
no, there was a Friday in October before Halloween. I think it was the 25th. We had some rain that evening. And then we didn't have any rain until this weekend. And we had a little bit of rain that I didn't see coming.
I
wasn't warned of this weekend's rain, is all I'm saying.
So last time it really rained, well, actually it was Saturday, but beyond this is I have volumes and volumes of this stuff that go back to 1999. This talks about September was the 6th wettest. Remember that? That was the 6th wettest. But last month was dry, about 50% of normal rainfall, and it really hasn't rained any significantly for several days since the 22nd of October was the last day.
What did it do on the 25th of October, though? Did it rain at all?
25th of October, there was some PM showers, 4/100th of an inch. You are correct, sir.
Okay, people are already weighing in. Ryan Moon says in all caps, yes, I love rain.
Well,
they're ready.
Well, we need it. I mean, one of the headlines about how glorious this summer was the fact that we didn't have the smoky skies in Oregon. We didn't have an out-of-control bad fire season. And why? Because temperatures were not crazy above normal, and we actually had, in many cases during the summer months, a little bit more rainfall than normal. And that was worth it, wasn't it, not to have the fire season?
Yeah.
Anyway, so this dry weather pattern that we've had going back to the last 8 days or so of October finally looks like it turns on a dime this coming Sunday. Now, I'm not talking about this Sunday will be day one of 20 days and nights of rain. I'm simply saying that starting Sunday, if you look from Sunday through the entire month of December coming up, that, 5-6 week period looks to be back into an above normal rainfall pattern.
What
and
about
there are
snow?
And there are several, for skiers and boarders, there are two what look to show up right now, big snow events the first 10 days of December where snow levels could be 2,000 feet or lower, and you would think we would get several feet, and then a weather pattern that may hold that and build on it, which would then set the stage for wonderful skiing and boarding setting up going into mid-December, of course, for the holiday break, which would be huge. One of those events is kind of hit and miss with, you wonder if the snow levels could be close to some of the metro hills around town, and that's over Thanksgiving weekend. Now, what's interesting, which looks really wet right now, what's interesting is that when we were talking about my winter outlook, one of the things that showed up was that, strangely enough, in the data set that I ran, there were several Novembers that had some snow in Portland, which is kind of rare. And we're talking an inch to, that type of thing. But we don't get that very often.
Enough to mess us up.
So could we get something maybe the last 5 days of November? We'll see. But another thing that showed up was that December would kick off and be active. Big snow building up in the mountains. And we would have an above normal rainy December before a drier than normal January. That January holding the promise of snow, which was one of the headlines in my outlook.
But Randall says, let it snow.
But it does look like
what you're talking about.
That the first part of my winter outlook, there are signs that that's going to come true, just like a roadmap.
Well, if it's going to be wet in December, snowy up in the mountains, not so much necessarily snow here in the valley floor in December, but then turning colder and drier in January, then how do we get the snow if it's staying dry?
Keep in mind, drier in January doesn't mean it's going to be bone dry. January is typically what month? That simply means I'm looking at averages in January that might be 50% of normal rainfall-wise. But that's plenty of moisture left over for a snow event.